Okay, I'm back. The first thing you're going to need is a hive stand. Here we have a very inexpensive one, probably costs about $30 for a couple of 4x4s and a couple blocks. They can be individual hive stands that run around $75. I prefer to go the cheaper route and keep your hives just about 8 inches above the ground. That way you can mow closely and the bees won't run into the weeds that are there near the entrance. Next is coming up. So this is what goes inside the hive. In this particular case, it's a 10 frame hive, so we'd have 10 frames. In between the frame is the bee space, 3/8 of an inch. So the bees can move in and out. If you have 10 of these in here, they won't make burr comb outside of the frame itself, which can be a problem. But let's start back here. And hello, Charlie. Go back to this point. So we have our frames in here, 10 of them, and then we put an inner cover in here. Now, this is what is recommended for the new beekeeper. There's another cover we'll talk about later, but for now, that's what we'd use. So now I've made a little list of things that cost to start up a beekeeping business or hobby for the first year for a new beekeeper. Not inclusive, because there are things like bee classes and books and your time, your effort, what you do, whether you make your own things or whether you get someone else to make them. There's also the things like paint that might be oops paint, or it might be brand new semi-gloss paint. It can run from anywhere from $10 to $40 or more. So let's say we started with one nuke. One nuke is going to cost around $200. It may be $195, it may be $205, depending on where you live. It can be more if you have more frames in your nuke. So it depends too on what kind of queen you have. There's a lot of variables there, but basically $200 for a nuke. Then you'll need your bottom board. In this case, we're going to use this 8 frame. So the bottom board would be about $23. As remember, we said the stand itself was about $30. So now we've got a nuke, bottom board, and the stand. Then we're going to need an entrance reducer. This is for a 10 frame, so it won't fit here, but we'll just put it there for now anyway. Now this is the bottom super, also known as the brood chamber. The bottom super will cost you approximately, let's see, $25. And then 10 frames, if it was a 10 frame hive or 8 frames, is going to cost you about $33, $34. I'll put this all on a list. 10 frames is going to cost you about $33, I think. Yeah, $33. A little cheaper if you only have 8 frames going in here. So then, on top of that, you would have your honey super. Actually, this is the one for the bees. It can be a deep or a medium like this one. Now this medium would also need 10 frames, another $33, and the medium itself would cost about $25. So we've got that, and you have your inner cover. Inner cover, I think costs, let's see, inner cover costs about $21. That's about right. Charlie! Charlie, come back. Charlie likes to chase anything that comes in the neighborhood. Oh well, back to making the video. Charlie, come here. So you have your telescoping cover. The telescoping cover runs about $30. Actually, I checked it today and it was like $38. Prices keep going up. So there we have our first hive. Now this is likely all you're going to need as far as hive goes the first year. At that point, the total with the nuke and the hive is going to be about $223. Oh wait, That's just the hive. The nuke and the hive is going to be $446. So then on top of that, what you may not realize is that you'll need two, which will bring the total to $892. So that's not including all the other things we're going to have. So let me go get those. We're going to add these basic tools because those are things you're going to need to have, like it or not. A little extra cost. So start off with a feeder of some type. Now, we have frame feeders that would go in a deep one, this one here, but you can get them for the medium too. Replaces a frame or two frames. If you do, then you got to consider that you will need more space maybe. Maybe then you'll need to go to a double deep for places that are a little further south than here. So that's one feeder. Another is a pail feeder, and it would go on top of your inner cover, upside down. It's got little holes in here. You fill your sugar water in here, and you turn it upside down, and it gravity feeds the bees. In that case, you would need another cover here to protect your inner cover, another super actually, as deep as a pail, so a deep super probably, and then your cover, regular telescoping cover, would go on top of that. So back to here, we've got our bees all in here, everything's going really well, and then it comes time to go into the hive. You'll need a smoker to calm the bees. Smoke makes the bees think that their hive is on fire, and so they'll fill themselves with honey to make sure that they can carry it to their new home once the fire burns out, or once they get away. This is a bee brush. If you want to brush bees off of a frame to see what's going on, to see your brood, or see your eggs, or see your, just get them into another box, then you can use a bee brush. A hive tool is essential because these get stuck together with propolis. You can slide it in here and open your hive and get to it. So this is also good for lifting frames out of your hive once the bees have made propolis in it. So you help one in and pull it up. Propolis is like a pitch made from pine sap or tree sap or even flower sap. It's a gluey thing that the bees stick things together with and fill up holes or cracks in the hive. Varroa mites are probably one of your biggest worry for colony collapse. So this is a test kit for Varroa mites. A hive tool costs about $10. It's used to get in between the boxes if they're stuck together with propolis for bees make from pine sap or from other tree sap and flower sap. A bee brush is to brush the bees off your comb if you want to see what's going on, or if you just want to move them from one box to another. The bee brush costs about $10. The smoker costs about $45, and the hive tool costs about $10. A bucket pail feeder costs about $12. And the same for a frame feeder. Frame feeder costs about $12 too. There's little things you'll need like alcohol for your mite check. Colony collapse is usually from Varroa mites. So be sure you have your mite check tool. You'll need it. I know you've seen videos where people go into beehives without any protection at all. But in your first year, for sure, you should have some protection, because bees do sting and they're not fun, especially the first year. If you're not used to getting stung, you may swell up like I did the first year and be ready to get rid of those bees in about 15 minutes, because It was a week before my swelling went down, and I took Dramamine or Benadryl, something like that, I don't know, and all kinds of salve. Those things cost money too, so you might add that in. You're going to need a bee suit for protection for yourself, and bee gloves. Now, you can use nitrile gloves, which are cheaper, but I would recommend you start with a well-fitting set of beekeeping gloves. And once you get more used to the bees, then maybe you would start going in there without any gloves or whatever. I still use mine after 5 years because I still don't like getting stung. Not everybody does that, but a few beekeepers like me do. I don't like being itching for, 3 or 4 days, and that's what happens with me. I'm not allergic to bees in the sense that it's an emergency or something like that, but it is something to consider. Whether you have a neighbor or anybody that might be allergic, you should make them aware that you're getting bees and see if there's an objection there. The other thing, of course, is your bee suit. Some type of bee suit. This one here is just a jacket, and I wear blue jeans and a pair of boots, and that protects me pretty good. The gloves cost about $20. That's a good investment. And the bee suit probably runs around $80, $85. So I put a list of all this stuff into my video, and I hope you've already noticed that. In the end, I've come up with a total cost of $1,112 to start beekeeping the first year. Now, if you're wise, you'll add $500 to that figure, because very possibly that might happen. So don't go in it lightly. Know that you're going to get some expense, and then maybe the next year, maybe you'll get honey for yourself and not just honey for the bees. I think we've covered just about everything. If I haven't, please put in the comments, what did I say right? What did I say wrong? What do you want to know? And if you'd like, please subscribe. Appreciate you watching this long. Thanks a lot.